the day that throws off every person in the college football media calendar. It's Reaction Tuesday. September 2nd, 2025 is today's date. We have a big weekend of college football results to get to here on the College Countdown podcast. I am your host, Josh Neighbors. We are presented by the folks at Rogue Media. We are presented by the folks at 365 Sports. We're also presented to you by the folks at DraftKings. A whole lot more coming on that later on in the show. Arch Manning's debut does not go to plan. That is by plan, in my opinion. Also, coming up on the show as well, Florida State, the Alabama conversation. We'll get to that. Bill Belichick, not as good as we thought. And a whole lot more coming up from a week one that was. It's a let's not overreact too much Tuesday. Follow us on Twitter. It's at CCPodcastJN. It's also at JoshNeighbors_. Our buddy Jack Allen will be here tomorrow. It's Jack Allen. As I turn on John Daly, don't mean to do that. Jack Allen is at, I have to find him. Jack Allen TV. He'll be coming up on the show tomorrow as well. Fired up for that. Make sure you all find us wherever you guys get your podcasts. And you can also find us on YouTube. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. All of those things help us spread the good word about this program as we try to keep on building this thing up. All right, folks, let's get to it. So the big result of the weekend, it's once again, let's not overreact too much on a Monday. Normally Monday, this is going to be a Tuesday. So the biggest result of the weekend was Texas and Ohio State. And does Texas, Ohio State 14-7 in favor of Ohio State matter that much? My thing is no. I was really, I don't want to say upset watching this game, but this game kind of blew like the entire way. This was not a really fun football game to watch. I don't think many people enjoyed watching this contest. And look, were the defenses locked in the entire time? Yes, they were. I think the things that we learned from this game are mostly about the defenses as we get the new top 25 out, right? We just got the new top 25 poll. Ohio State jumps from 3 to 1, which I thought was a bit ridiculous. But what's interesting about this game is that two things. Number one, Ohio State's defensive front and defense in general has reloaded, as is the same for Texas. Both of these teams last year were characterized by fantastic defenses and offenses that could be deadly. Ohio State was really both sides of the ball, but their defense was fantastic. Texas defense was fantastic, and the offense could occasionally be deadly. But really, these were defense-first teams. I've talked at length about my time in the Big 12 Conference covering Sark's Texas teams in the beginning that were really just, hey, they went 5-7 his first year. They had 11 first-half leads, and in those games, they eventually finished 5-7 because their defenses and their offensive lines wilted throughout the contest. Then he has, for now, what appears to be 3 consecutive seasons, built really strong interiors of the defensive line. And that, I thought, played itself out the other day. There were moments where Ohio State was able to sustain offense, but man, that first Ohio State touchdown drive gave you the impression that scoring on Texas is going to be really challenging this year. You might say, well, Josh, they scored. How is that the case? I'll take you back to Notre Dame, Ohio State last year in the championship game. You watched Notre Dame go down the field slowly and methodically, having to convert 4th down after a 4th down to get down there and then to eventually score. And you saw, Riley Leonard throwing up on the sideline. And what that told me is, hey, look, it took a Herculean effort by both offense and offensive leader to go down the field and score on Ohio State. Same thing is true here for this Texas defense. The effort that it took to go downfield and score was considerable. It was a 13-play, 80-yard drive that spanned 8 minutes of time. And the reason why it was so challenging was because, well, also in addition to how challenging it was, they needed penalties to spur on that drive. All right. The penalties were the big difference maker. On the other side of things, and once again, this is a game that saw Texas had 336 yards of offense. Ohio State had 203 total yards of offense in this game. Now, penalty yards, 6 for 50. Texas has the edge there. It's a massive, massive issue. But at the same time, that's still like, that was the decider because they were so good on defense for most of the time. Yards per pass, 6.3 to 5.7. Third downs, 5 of 14 for Texas, 3 of 12 for Ohio State, 16-11 in the first downs category. But moving the ball for both these teams was a massive challenge. So I wanted to start there. I wanted to give these defenses credit. And look, it was hard for both these heavyweights, all yet unrefined heavyweights, to score upon each other. It's going to be very hard for the little guys to score on these defenses. At least that's what I think as we're through a week through the season. The other side of things, like this reminded me of an early season big NFL game, like if the Chiefs met the Bills and really neither squad wants to give away the big stuff that they might have planned for later on in the season. Neither team wants to say, hey, look, we've got something massive here that we want to show you guys. Here is our big wrinkle. Here is our big push. To use a basketball analogy, here are our Jordan rules. Nobody wanted to do that in this game. And I think that was pretty clear. Also, on the Texas side of things, I mentioned in the early part of the show that, hey, was Arch Manning sucking part of the plan? Well, was him part of the sucking part of the plan? Absolutely not. But what you have to think about here is Steve Sarkisian did not do his quarterback any favors at all in this game. Because the one thing that he is not at this point in time is a good quarterback. And, that comes with time, refinement, skill, and also repetition against top-level competition. The one thing he is a plus athlete. And so while he is not a good quarterback yet, refine that stuff against lower-level competition and allow that to improve throughout the year. Yes, you've got high-level competition in your practice. Yes, you've got that in fall camp. But until you get the bullets flying in front of that big crowd, and some folks who play might tell me I'm wrong here, but until you get those bullets flying against the big crowd, you really don't know how good the kid can be, right? And also, you don't know what that refinement process will look like for him. Well, there was not much opportunity. And everybody on Twitter and then on the halftime show of Big Noon Kickoff was saying, let him use his legs more. Let him use his legs more, which, like, I know it sounds simple. I know it sounds easy, but they're right. Because the one thing that we know he is an athlete. So let him be an athlete. Just let him do that. See if that works. He had that one scamper to the sideline where he had a really nice cut and kept things rolling on the outside. Let him use that ability. I remember I saw Tommy Castellanos, and we'll get to him in a little bit, but Tommy Castellanos with the cut in and then the cut out. And it's like, yeah, man, guess what? This kid's not a great passer, but we know he's a good athlete. He's got that Kyler Murray. I would say Tommy Castellanos, poor man's Kyler Murray. I think that's kind of a good comp. But able to make those plays and that shiftiness. Let the guys be the guys. What makes Arch Manning a guy? Well, he's an athlete. He's got the Manning name, but he is not a Manning quarterback yet. And guess what? That's okay. That's totally okay. They tried it against Georgia last year to put him in the game and see if it worked at all. And guess what? It didn't. That's totally okay. We have to be okay with that. I think we should be okay with that. And so with that in mind, we can say to ourselves, all right, it didn't look the way it's supposed to. A lot of that's on where Arch is right now as a quarterback. He took responsibility for it after the game. Part of it was play calling. And also, guess what? They should have been out of this game late, but because their defense is so damn good, they weren't, and they had a shot to tie this thing. And you saw his ability there at the end, extending a play, actually completing the pass at the end. Like, Arch Manning's going to be fine, at least in my opinion. He'll be fine. This thing's going to take time. I'm mad at myself for picking the game. Now, it's funny. I picked Texas to win because I was like, hey, maybe they let Arch just manage this game with his legs. Because, this is a guy who's got the ability, and I liked him at quarterback more. No, man, I thought Julian Saban managed the game well. There were some early drops. Everything wasn't really his fault. So out of the two quarterbacks, Saban played the better game. Part of that was coaching, and part of that was the way things just kind of worked out, and when the way that those two guys are ready. And so I think kudos to Julian Saban. But really the two stars of this game were Pete Kwiatkowski and Matt Patricia, defensively rather, really just having their ducks in a row, ready to rock, ready to roll, and coaching outstanding games the pair of them did, I thought. So that's my take there. I'm not too worried about Arch Manning. It feels weird doing 10 minutes in this game because guess what? Both these teams went into the game as heavyweights. Both these teams come out of the game as heavyweights, and the poll reflects that. Texas drops all the way to 6th. I thought that was way too substantial of a drop. I mean, I watched Miami play, I watched Georgia play, and I watched LSU play, and there's no way to definitively say that LSU is now 4 spots better than Texas. I don't think that's true. The funny thing is, all the teams that lost inside and around the top 10 all got dropped to the same place: 7, 8, and 9. So all the teams with a single digit by their name, all being at the same spot, it's like, you know what? We can't put a double digit by their name because of their performance, but we could all group them together at the bottom of the top 10. That grouping together shows the group think, I believe, that happens in top 25 standings. Just my thought on that. All right, folks, let's hear a quick word from our friends at DraftKings. The rivalries, the marching bands, the upsets. Saturdays just got way more fun because college football, it's back, folks. You know the game? Do you think you know the game? Well, put your knowledge to the test with DraftKings Sportsbook and turn your picks into big payouts. You would not have turned my picks into payouts this week. We had a rough week, ATS, but still actually had a pretty good week in general because, I like the games I liked a lot more than some other ones. They've got live betting. They've got rivalry week odds boost as rivalries continue. DraftKings Sportsbook has everything you need to know. And guys, their lines are extensive. They adjust their lines accordingly. They've got their lines out early enough. You can go check that now, right now, the DraftKings Sportsbook. And for new DraftKings customers, if you bet $5, you can get $300 in bonus bets instantly. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook and use the code NEIGHBORS. That's NEIGHBORS. That's the code NEIGHBORS for new customers, and you get a $300 bonus bets immediately after you all bet that first $5. So DraftKings Sportsbook, folks, there's no better place to do it. It's the best interface. It's the best odds. And I'll tell you what, I associate some of my best memories with that $5 free bet that I placed in getting my bonus bets the first time I did it. They came immediately, and my buddy Cole Acasio and I had a great weekend back home in Virginia when we used it. So with DraftKings Sportsbook, folks, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in New York. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-78-9777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino Resort in Kansas. Fees may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. All right, so that's our note from our friends at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Also this weekend, we have to talk about Florida State and Alabama because everybody's talking about Florida State and Alabama. So my thought on this, would love to get your all's thoughts in the comment section. Leave your comments, like the video, tell us what you think about it, about what we're talking about here. So my thoughts about Alabama are this, is that there are a lot of good teams in the SEC. I don't know if Alabama is too much different than an LSU. I really don't. I don't know if Ty Simpson is the guy necessarily, but I feel like Alabama is not too much different than other teams in the SEC. That being said, they are coming from a place where they were a lot different than other teams in the SEC, and that came from who their coach was. And so while things might not be completely and totally different, and this is something that we're going to tackle tomorrow, we're not going to get too deep into this right now, but this is something that Jack and I are going to tackle is, what's the difference between Alabama now and LSU now? And what is the difference in the margins that made those Nick Saban teams great? And we had a debate this morning on our radio show, and this is the question that I want us to think about. Not going to have an answer to it right now, but I posed the question to Justin Moore, 13-time country artist, country singer. And the reason why I say that is because he is so accustomed to handling success, and I think he does a pretty good job with it, to be honest. Not just saying that because I work with the guy, but I always say, like, as far as famous people goes, he is one of the most normal folks that I've ever met in my entire life. And because, he's able to keep his 10 toes down. That's a message that Nick Saban has kind of always done, is like, man, we aren't blank. We aren't crap. We aren't shit, for a better, a lack of a better term. All these teams are coming after us. We have to maintain a standard. And what we talked about was Nick Saban having the standard. And when he left college football, is it because he couldn't get guys to meet the Saban standard anymore? Or is it because it became a lot harder to maintain that standard? So he could still get guys to play at that Alabama level, that absolute wagon level of discipline and process-driven football where we churn out NFL players who know how to play our way and play a hard way and can finish all that stuff, right? And they make you make the mistakes. We don't make the mistakes. Or is it because, he actually couldn't do it anymore? And Justin posited the idea that, hey, I think Saban could still do it. I just think as he got older, it got a lot harder. And he goes, you know what? And these kids have more and more now. And he's like, it's natural. And he's not saying the kids don't deserve the money. But what he's saying is, as these kids get more, having them work harder and harder is harder. And I don't think that's untrue. I maybe fight it a little bit, but there are plenty of athletes who have gotten paid and perform at a top level. And maybe there's some shifting now because these kids are just starting to get paid. But the idea that getting those kids to perform at a peak efficiency has become much harder. I don't know if that's true, but it's an idea I want to kick the tires on. And is achieving that level harder across the board? Or is Alabama just are they at a similar talent level than everybody else now? And are they going to be up and down just like everybody else is? That's a question we have to ask, because I looked in that field and I thought Ty Simpson looked slow. I thought his decision-making was not fast enough, but I saw an Alabama team that, particularly on offense, has weapons and has enough weapons to be really good. And on defense, I thought the effort and energy lacked a little bit there, but they've got the proper players in place to be a very good football team still. So there's a lot to explore with Alabama. I'm not going to call Paul Feinbaum angry if I'm a Bama fan just yet. You can't about a single result, but guess what? FSU was undervalued and Alabama was overvalued. I thought my favorite bet of the entire weekend was Florida State plus 14, because guess what? They've got so much talent that it's going to be tough for them to suck again. That's such a good environment. And Tommy Castellanos, good Lord. You want to talk about just absolute gangster. His name is Tommy Castellanos. I mean, Godfather stuff right there. And him backing up the trash talk. And really, just confidence and game management. And just, he is a awesome figure to watch and to root for, because, it's like I always use a great example of this was the Lonzo Ball, LeVar Ball stuff. Like, LeVar was all talk about how good Lonzo was. And Lonzo's been hurt so much in the NBA that we haven't gotten to see that quality. But Lonzo's best quality was the fact that he was a great defensive player, he was a really steady hand, and he was a good distributor. So it's like somebody talking up how good Steve Nash is. It's like Steve Nash is just, oh my God, greatest thing since sliced bread. You know what Steve Nash really is? He's just a great player. He's just a great all-around player. Now, there's some flash, there's some sizzle, but you know what? Steve Nash was just a guy who ran an innovative offense that made everybody around him better. Was he Magic Johnson? No. Was he even Chris Paul? Maybe not. He's not Steph Curry, but guess what? He's a 2-time MVP. He's a Hall of Fame player. And so, it's like all of this sizzle. And look, Tommy Castellanos has some sizzle to his game, but really, like, you look at the passing stats, he just managed the game well. He really managed the game well. And the thing is that he didn't put the ball in harm's way. The most famous FSU quarterback we think about is one Jameis Winston. And Jameis was a big-time flash guy. Let's chuck it all over the place, putting the ball in harm's way. Castellanos not doing a whole lot of that. So the two results we have highlighted in this show today are those two games. So shout out to FSU. I've got no idea if they're good. The Alabama part to me is much more interesting. We should have expected what happened to Arch Manning, and Ohio State, credit to you, but we should have expected what happened to Arch Manning. The losing locker room, better story twice here. On the flip side of that, on the other side, look, LSU defeats Clemson, and we'll talk to Jack about this too because Jack's an LSU guy. The story to me is the back end. The back end of LSU's defense, particularly one Mansour Delane, who comes over from Virginia Tech, according to PFF, 40 pass attempts against him is 1 of 8, in 40 plays in coverage. 1 catch on 8 throws in his direction. 2 PBUs and a pick. A 0.0 passing percentage against him. LSU's offense was good enough. LSU's defense was great against Clemson. And Clemson continues to shrivel up into a ball in big games. We'll get Jack's thoughts on that and more. Let us know your thoughts on what happened in Saturday's contest and Sunday's contest and Monday's contest last night. Find us on Twitter at CCPodcastJN. Leave your comments as well. Like the video, sub to the channel. And once again, guys, DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours there. $5 gets you 300 in bonus bets when you use the code NEIGHBORS. That's NEIGHBORS. Once again, NEIGHBORS. If you have a gambling problem, they've got help for you in all of those states. 1-800-GAMBLER in New York. Hope NY as well in Connecticut. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 887-895. Excuse me. Call 887-897-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please pay responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. Fees may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. All right, folks. Jack Allen, Josh Neighbors coming your way tomorrow right here on the College Countdown Podcast.